The day before the wedding, I received a call from the hotel. "Hello, Mr. Hunt, someone has trashed your wedding venue." Confused, I rushed to the hotel, only to see a gigolo holding our wedding photos, roaring, "You shameless gold digger! Seducing my girlfriend and spending her money on such a lavish wedding." The crowd erupted, and even the hotel manager pointed fingers at me. I knew something was up when the bride was never around during the wedding preparations. Turns out, he's not the original. More and more onlookers joined in the beating, and my leg was crippled. I laughed in anger and immediately texted my secretary, "Cancel the wedding tomorrow, and tell Ashley Carter to get the hell out of my company. Spending my money to keep a gigolo, and so brazenly. Just watch how I tear you apart." I was trying on the suit I would wear tomorrow in front of the mirror when the hotel manager called, his tone dripping with schadenfreude. "Mr. Hunt, that luxurious dream-light wedding venue of yours has been trashed. Do you want to come over and take a look?" Trashed? My mind went blank. I had been preparing for this wedding for over half a year, pouring millions into it. Who dared to trash it? Tomorrow is my wedding to Ashley Carter, my fiancée of 7 years. How could something go wrong at this crucial moment? I was furious. Without thinking, I sent Ashley Carter a text message and rushed to the hotel. As soon as I arrived at the hotel entrance, I heard the hotel manager's voice. "Wow, I didn't expect CEO Lynn's husband to be so young and promising. A perfect match for CEO Lynn." I knew it. I never saw the bride whenever I came to set up the wedding venue. Turns out, he's not the original. Let's connect on the cell phone. If the hotel has any projects in the future, please ask CEO Lynn to take care of us. CEO Lynn? My heart skipped a beat. I followed the voice and saw a thin, weak gigolo holding the manager's business card, saying with a resentful expression, "S. You're, after I take care of this shameless gold digger. I will remember your contribution." I strode over. The meticulously arranged flower arch was knocked to the ground, the expensive champagne tower was shattered, and rotten vegetables and rotten eggs were scattered on the floor. The magnificent dream wedding venue, which had been so beautiful this afternoon, was now a complete mess. Suppressing my anger, I gritted my teeth and asked, "Who did this?" "Damn it." The gigolo saw me and, without a word, kicked me in the leg. "I did it. Chad Lee is going to show you what I'm made of, you gold digger." I stumbled and almost fell. Chad Lee? The name sounded familiar. Right, Ashley Carter had mentioned that a colleague asked her to help him find a job, and his name seemed to be Chad Lee. Ashley Carter and I had been dating since college. I sneered. "Good for you, Ashley Carter. My father kindly let her be the CEO of the company as a favor because she was pregnant, and she took herself seriously, daring to have an affair behind my back." I glared at Chad Lee and shouted, "What do you think you are? How dare you hit me?" Chad Lee took out his cell phone. The screen showed his and Ashley Carter's wedding photos. He pointed to the welcoming photo of Ashley Carter and me at the ballroom entrance and screamed, "What do I think I am? I should be asking you, what do you think you are? I've been taking wedding photos with my girlfriend for over half a year. How dare you seduce her?" Seduce? Ridiculous. I took out my cell phone to call Ashley Carter over for a confrontation, but Chad Lee snatched it away and smashed it on the ground. "The gold digger dares to call for backup?" Chad Lee's voice was piercing, and the surrounding onlookers immediately gathered around, pointing and whispering. I just searched it. That woman is Ashley Carter, the CEO of Zenith Corporation. Young people these days are all about the money. Exactly, this guy isn't bad looking. Why would he want to be a gold digger? The hotel manager saw the situation and quickly came over to appease Chad Lee. "Don't be angry, it's not worth it to ruin your health. How about this? I'll arrange our hotel's best presidential suite for you and give you and CEO Lynn a year of free SPA treatments to calm you down." As he spoke, he turned to me, "Mr. Hunt, I'm sorry, but our hotel won't be hosting your wedding." I laughed in anger. "Not hosting it? Will you compensate for the breach of contract?" I glanced at the ruined wedding venue and stared coldly at Chad Lee. "And what about my wedding venue, which cost $5 million to create? Can you afford to compensate for that?" Chad Lee sneered and grabbed my collar when I wasn't paying attention. "Compensate? You gold digger, you're spending my girlfriend's money. How dare you ask me to compensate? Have you no shame? At this moment, Chadley noticed the limited edition sports car key in my hand. He said furiously, "No wonder Ashley Carter couldn't buy this car for me. It turns out it was taken by you, the other man." He reached out to grab it, and I originally held on tightly, but then I thought, it wasn't worth hurting myself for this gigolo, so I let go. Chadley then grabbed my car key and fell straight backward. As a result, the surrounding crowd helped him up and began to accuse me. How can this hotel let a gold digger like this in? Exactly. Mr. Lee. Don't worry, we all saw it. He hit you first. That's right, Mr. Lee. My husband also works in your company, in the marketing department. I hope you can put in a good word for him in front of CEO Lynn. Ashley Carter was just a CEO in name only, and that company wasn't even a listed company. Yet they all called her CEO Lynn this and CEO Lynn that. I remembered what my father said a few days ago, that after Ashley Carter and I got married, he would slowly hand over the remaining companies under the group to us. And now, I only felt lucky. Chadley was helped up by the crowd and smugly straightened his clothes. He pointed at me and shouted at the hotel manager, "What kind of people do you let into your hotel? Aren't you afraid of ruining your reputation?" The hotel manager smiled obsequiously and nodded. Yes, Mr. Lee is right. I will pay attention next time." Chadley snorted and then picked up my car key and walked towards the door. With a pop, a limited edition sports car lit up. Chadley pointed at the car and screamed, "You bitch. You dare to spend my girlfriend's money recklessly." As he spoke, he picked up my car key, walked up to me, and rubbed it hard on my face. "Someone like you doesn't deserve to drive this sports car. I'm going to have it smashed in a minute." After saying that, he smashed the car key hard on the ground, then stomped on it with his foot until the car key was completely unrecognizable. Chadley didn't seem satisfied, so he found a hammer from the front desk. A multi-million-dollar sports car, a gold digger doesn't deserve to use it. He walked angrily to the sports car, raised the hammer, and smashed it down with force in my stunned gaze. I didn't stop him, silently calculating how much he would have to pay me later. At this time, the hotel owner rushed over in a hurry. The hotel manager whispered a few words in his ear, and suddenly the owner looked up and stared at me with a serious expression. "Mr. Hunt, from now on, you are blacklisted from our hotel." I couldn't believe my ears. How could a group of people be led around by a gigolo? I looked at the owner and asked, "Are you sure?" The owner looked me up and down and said affirmatively, "Our hotel has always valued its reputation the most. We don't welcome people like you." I nodded. "Fine. My father was one of the major shareholders of this hotel. I'll see how he regrets it later." I bent down to pick up my cell phone, but Chadley stepped on my back. "I've already informed my girlfriend. She'll be here soon. I'll see how arrogant you can be then." I endured the pain, grabbed his foot, and pulled hard. Chadley fell to the ground in a disheveled state. The hotel manager was shocked and hurriedly helped him up. "Oh, Mr. Lee, are you okay? Should I call an ambulance for you?" "Call an ambulance for what?" "Arrest him. This man is a shameless other man." Chadley roared with red eyes, "You gold digger, seduce my girlfriend, and you dare to hit me. I'm going to ruin your reputation." The hotel owner's face was ashen, and he pointed at me and shouted, "How dare you hit Mr. Lee? Our hotel has surveillance cameras. I've already called the police." The surrounding onlookers had now turned into embodiments of justice, pointing and gesticulating at me. Some even started to get physical, pulling my hair and tearing my clothes. "You dare to hit CEO Lynn's husband? I'll help him get evidence. You're not only another man. You also hit people. That's right. Put him on the internet. Make him famous. Let him be famous." I was pushed and dragged to the welcoming photo, and someone picked up the photo of Ashley Carter and me and tore it in half with a rip. I watched as the photo of Ashley Carter and me was torn to shreds, feeling no emotion in my heart, only endless anger and disgust. Good riddance. Did you take a picture? Post it online. I want everyone to see the true face of this gold digger. Chadley directed the crowd triumphantly, as if he were the victor in this farce. I held my cell phone tightly in my hand, the screen flashing with dozens of unread text messages from Ashley Carter. she still had the nerve to text me. Taking advantage of their inattention, I opened the text messages. As expected, they were all nonsense about apologies, explanations, and pleas for forgiveness. I quickly browsed through them and then deleted and blacklisted her without hesitation. Then I sent a text message to my secretary: cancel the wedding tomorrow. Also, have my father withdraw his investment from Grand Crest H. Hotel. Tell Ashley Carter to get out of my company. The reply came quickly, with only one sentence: okay, Mr. Hunt. Chadley saw that I was using my cell phone, raised the hammer, and attacked me mercilessly. I couldn't dodge in time and groaned, a sharp pain shooting through my leg. I collapsed to the ground, helpless. The surrounding crowd exclaimed, but quickly returned to silence. The hotel owner looked down at me condescendingly. Mr. Hunt, stop pretending. The wedding venue was trashed due to your behavior. Our hotel will not compensate you. Also, please apologize to Mr. Lee, CEO Lynn's husband. My vision went black from the pain, and I couldn't say a word. I could only stare at the person in front of me with red eyes. The hotel manager suddenly pointed to my leg, his voice trembling. Blood. I looked down. My leg was already deformed. Was this crippled? Chadley's face flashed with panic, but he quickly regained his composure. He crossed his arms and sneered maliciously. Heh. Relying on his good looks to seduce my girlfriend, thinking of being a gold digger. I'll break your leg and see how you seduce. You deserve to be crippled. I held onto the floor tightly, trying not to pass out. Just then, there was a sound of hurried footsteps at the hotel entrance, approaching rapidly, accompanied by a familiar voice: Ethan Hunt. I struggled to look up and saw Ashley Carter pushing through the crowd towards me with a worried expression. Behind her were several bodyguards in suits. Ashley Carter. Spending my money to keep a gigolo, and so brazenly. Just watch how I tear you apart. Ashley Carter saw the crowd surrounding me and saw that my leg was covered in blood, and she panicked. She immediately tried to help me up. Before she could get close, Chadley grabbed her arm. Wife, what's going on? Why are you having a wedding with him? Did this gold digger seduce you? When the crowd saw Ashley Carter, they all surrounded her. CEO Lynn, you don't know. That other man was so arrogant just now. He even hit Mr. Lee. Exactly. Couples argue in bed and make up at the end of the bed. I think CEO Lynn was deceived by this gold digger. Mr. Lee, please forgive CEO Lynn. Ashley Carter shook off Chadley's hand forcefully, but he held on tightly. Her face flushed red, and she shouted at the crowd, all of you shut up. The crowd was stunned by her shout and immediately fell silent. Only then was Ashley Carter able to turn to me, her voice filled with panic and helplessness. Ethan Hunt, how are you? Are you okay? I sneered and pushed away her outstretched hand. Get lost. Don't touch me. Chadley panicked. He pointed at me with trembling fingers and looked at Ashley Carter. Wife, you can't have fallen in love with this gold digger, have you? He's only with you to cheat you out of your money. Why are you protecting him like this? We've already taken wedding photos. I clutched my bleeding leg, my heart ice cold. Why? Why was Ashley Carter doing this to me? I couldn't understand. I looked up and stared at Ashley Carter, saying each word clearly. Ashley Carter, I didn't expect this. The Hunt family has been so good to you. If it weren't for my father's insistence on handing the company over to you, what would you be now? Is this how you repay me? Having an affair behind my back and letting him come to our wedding venue to show off? This wedding. It's off. Let's break up. Ashley Carter pushed Chadley away and rushed to me, trying to help me up. She explained anxiously, Ethan Hunt, listen to me, it's not what you think. We've been together for 7 years. How could I betray you? Then she pointed at Chadley and cursed, it's him. He's been harassing me repeatedly. I only agreed to take wedding photos with him to get rid of him. I didn't expect him to escalate like this and even dare to come and make a scene in front of you. Ashley Carter continued to explain incessantly, but I turned my head away, not wanting to look at her again. The people who had been helping Chadley just now were now all mute, each of them silent, afraid of getting into trouble. Just then, my secretary, Bob Wilson, arrived with several police officers. Bob Wilson's face changed when he saw me like this. Without regard for anything else, he helped me up and left. "Mr. Hunt, let's go to the hospital first." Only then did Ashley Carter react, and she hurried to catch up, wanting to grab me. I'll go with him." Robert, Bob, Wilson turned around sharply, his eyes like knives, shooting towards Ashley Carter. "Ashley Carter, from now on, you'd better stay away from our Mr. Hunt." The hotel owner probably realized that I was someone important at this point, and he quickly nodded and bowed, directing the security guards. "Where are the security guards? Where did they all go? Quickly get this troublemaker, Mr. Lee, out of here. Our hotel doesn't welcome him anymore." Chad Lee was dragged out by several burly security guards. He was still roaring hoarsely. "What are you doing? Let me go. I'm Ashley Carter's husband. The CEO's husband. We've taken wedding photos. You're all blind dogs. Let me go." "Ah, you'll regret this." I took a deep breath and suddenly felt relieved. Discovering Ashley's affair before the wedding turned out to be a blessing in disguise. The hotel owner gave Chad Lee a disgusted look and then approached me with a flattering smile. "Mr. Hunt, look at this mess. It's all a misunderstanding. We were also deceived by this man." Robert, Bob, Wilson glanced at the hotel owner coldly and said in an icy tone, "Our chairman Hunt also said that he will withdraw his investment from this hotel starting today. As for the rest, we'll see you in court." The crowd of opportunists panicked when they saw the police arrive, and they all rushed to disclaim any involvement. "Mr. Hunt, I didn't hit you just now. I can testify for you. That guy named Chad Lee hit you first." I okayed at these sycophants and felt only sadness and ridicule in my heart. I closed my eyes and said weakly, "Save your words for the police." At the hospital, the doctors said that my leg was badly fractured and that it had also been damaged by an old injury. I might limp in the future. I calmly signed the papers. The surgery was done quickly, but it felt long. My 7 years with Ashley Carter had ended. Back in the ward, there were already many people standing inside. Robert, Bob, Wilson explained, "Mr. Hunt, Chairman Hunt is rushing back from out of town. He probably won't be here so soon. The police said they need to take a statement first." I nodded and scanned the others in the ward before finally settling on Chad Lee, who was sitting in the corner with an unwilling expression. "He trashed my wedding venue, causing a financial loss of about $5 million. He also smashed my limited edition sports car, which is worth about $12 million. And he crippled me," I said coldly. With each number I said, Chad Lee's face turned uglier. But what did I care? He had to bear the consequences of his mistakes. I looked at the police and said casually, "Let's just handle everything according to the law." Chad Lee heard my words and suddenly jumped up from his seat like a madman, pointing at my nose and cursing. "Who do you think you are?" Chad Lee took out his cell phone from his bag and slammed it in front of the police. "Officers, look. These are my wedding photos with my girlfriend." The police officer picked up the photos expressionlessly, looked at them, then looked at Ashley Carter, and asked officially, "Where's your marriage certificate?" Ashley Carter put on an act of loving me deeply, pointing at Chad Lee with trembling fingers. "Chad Lee, you crippled my boyfriend's leg. When are you going to stop making trouble?" As she spoke, she turned to me, her eyes full of pleading and love. "Ethan Hunt, you know that you're the only one in my heart." Hearing these words from her mouth, I felt only ridicule. Chad Lee didn't believe it and shook his head violently. "You're lying to me." The police officer couldn't listen anymore and quickly stopped them. "The current situation is that Mr. Lee vandalized Mr. Hunt's wedding venue, damaged Mr. Hunt's personal property, and even caused Mr. Hunt to be disabled. Do you have anything to say about the facts?" Chad Lee said with red eyes, looking at Ashley Carter. "She was two-timing me, so I mistakenly thought Ethan Hunt was the other man. What's wrong with that? What did I do wrong?" The police officer was speechless. "Mr. Lee, we will consider what you said, but the amount of damage in this case is significant. The legal team estimates it to be over $20 million, so we will still file a lawsuit against you according to the law." Hearing the amount of compensation, tens of millions, Chad Lee panicked completely. He looked at Ashley Carter helplessly. "Wife, help me. Where would I get so much money?" His eyes were bloodshot, and he shed tears in public. "Wife, even if we don't have a marriage certificate, We have a de facto marriage, don't we? You and Ethan Hunt aren't married either, so why don't you choose me? Why? Because you can't give her what the Hunt family can give her. At this moment, he probably still thought Ashley Carter was some CEO Lynn, right? I laughed in anger. Thank you for reminding me. I'm really glad I didn't marry Ashley Carter yet. Hearing my words, Ashley Carter stopped looking at Chad Lee and hurriedly straightened her skirt. The wedding can't be canceled. I've already invited all our friends and family. If I cancel now, where will I put my face? I mean, where will the Hunt family put its face? Suddenly, a roar came from the door. Your face. What's your face worth? It was my mother, Lindy Brown, the chairman of Zenith Corporation. Her always dignified face was now covered in dark clouds. The police officers saw that the statement was almost done, so they retreated. The ward fell silent, with only a few intertwined breaths. My mother strode to my bedside and carefully checked my condition. Son, Mom is here. Then, she turned around sharply, her sharp gaze shooting directly at Ashley Carter. Ashley Carter, you can't even be a good vase. Ashley Carter's body trembled visibly. She knelt in a panic, her eyes full of fear and pleading. Mom, I know I was wrong. Please give me a chance to make up for it. Who's your mom? My mother raised her hand and slapped her face. My son, Lindy Brown's son, doesn't deserve a woman like you. My mother took a document from her assistant and threw it on Ashley Carter's face without hesitation, her voice cold and ruthless. From today onwards, you are no longer the project CEO of our Zenith Corporation. Chad Lee's face turned pale when he heard this. He looked at Ashley Carter in disbelief. What do you mean? What do you mean you're no longer the project CEO? Didn't you say you were the heir to Zenith Corporation? I looked at Chad Lee with a smile that wasn't a smile. Zenith Corporation has only ever had one heir, and that's me. What you picked up was just an empty vase. My mother waved her hand, and without her needing to say anything, the bodyguards at the door pounced on Ashley Carter and Chad Lee, dragging them out like dead dogs. In the days that followed, Ashley Carter acted like a mad dog, bombarding me with phone calls and text messages, and even trying to find me at the hospital. But I only felt disgusted and naturally blacklisted all her contact information. And that Grand Crest Hotel was also taken care of by my mother. As soon as the news of my mother's withdrawal of investment spread, those investors who had been flattering them avoided them like the plague. As a result, the Grand Crest Hotel's capital chain quickly broke, and the hotel's operations were paralyzed. The owner was as anxious as an ant on a hot pot, seeking help everywhere, even Humblin. G himself to find my mother, almost kneeling and kowtowing. Chairman Tian, please be magnanimous and spare me this time. I promise I won't dare to do it again. My mother looked at him coldly, her voice icy. Spare you? My son was crippled in your hotel. Can you bear that responsibility? The owner's face was pale. He knew he was finished this time. Grand Crest Hotel was eventually auctioned off by the court. What Grand Crest Hotel? Now it was just a scene of desolation. And that profit-seeking, unscrupulous owner ended up bankrupt. After recovering, I ate and drank as I pleased, and in my free time, I traveled around with Bob Wilson. But I had underestimated Chad Lee's vanity after all. One day, just after getting off the plane, Bob Wilson frowned with his cell phone in his hand. Mr. Hunt, what kind of tricks do you think that Chad Lee will come up with? I looked at Bob Wilson. I was grateful for his company these days, and he had helped me a lot with the Ashley Carter matter. I asked casually, just call me Ethan Hunt. By the way, what's wrong with Chad Lee? Is he acting up again? It's more than just acting up, it's practically courting death. Bob Wilson handed me his cell phone. Take a look for yourself. I'm almost laughing myself to death. What kind of man is this? Disgusting. I took the cell phone. On the screen, Chad Lee was wearing heavy makeup and angrily accusing me of my evil deeds. He claimed that he and Ashley Carter had been true love since college, but I, the third party who cut in, forcibly broke them up. He also presented a PPT with a whopping 80-odd pages, filled with various intimate photos of him and Ashley Carter, and even so-called wedding photos, to prove that he was telling the truth. In the live stream, a netizen with the ID Justice Warrior was righteously indignant, spamming the chat. My poor Chad Lee, he was so badly hurt by this other man. They had already taken wedding photos and set up the wedding venue, but this man relied on his wealth and power to forcibly snatch Chad Lee's fiancée. Now Chad Lee is mentally disturbed because of this incident and has lost his job. That man even wants him to pay more than $20 million in damages. He's trying to kill him. Robert, Bob, Wilson rolled his eyes. I don't know how Ashley Carter was so blind. She didn't want someone as handsome and rich as you and insisted on getting involved with him. In the live stream, Chad Lee, a grown man, was bawling his eyes out, while a group of righteous keyboard warriors, knowing only half the story, were furiously denouncing me. OMG, Ethan is so hard to deal with. He wants to take everything. I bet he planned this. He set you up to make a scene and then screw you over. A loss of over $20 million, dude. You gotta countersue him for extortion. Robert, Bob, Wilson was green with anger, the knuckles of his hand gripping his cell phone white. Ethan, I gotta say, Chad's got some nerves. He's going to court in 2 weeks, and he's got time to play the victim here. And these idiots, they're being used as pawns and thanking the guy who's using them. I remained calm, saying slowly, let him squirm. I want to see what else he can pull off. Sure enough, after Chad Lee finished his sob story about his tragic experience, he started selling stuff. He sniffled and choked out, I'm desperate. I'm powerless. Please, someone help me. Then, he pulled out a pile of luxury bags, clothes, and shoes from behind him and began showing them off. Ashley Carter gave me all these. They're designer brands. I'm selling them off cheap. Folks, this Hermes bag is brand new, originally $300,000, now only $100,000. In this globally limited edition watch. Robert, Bob, Wilson frowned, peering closely at the screen. He's mixing fakes with the real stuff. I nodded. Fake. The ridiculous thing was that the netizens in the live stream, their brains addled by Chad Lee's pity party, were snapping up these fakes like crazy. WTF, are these people blind? They believe this crap? Robert, Bob, Wilson widened his eyes in disbelief. Maybe they weren't blind, just pathetically self-absorbed. Chad Lee's live stream was getting more and more popular, with gifts flooding in. In just 1 hour, he probably made a fortune. At this moment, Chad Lee turned to open the closet to show off more luxury goods given by Ashley Carter, and a huge wave of family members flooded into the live stream. Wait a minute, the layout of this room, it looks kind of familiar. I sat up straight, staring intently at the screen, a ridiculous thought flashing through my mind. No way. To verify my guess, I quickly opened my cell phone album, found our intimate photos with Ashley Carter, zoomed in again. Sure enough, the background in the photo was the same as the room layout in Chad Lee's live stream. Bob, get the legal team. We're going for a ride. My eyes darkened, my tone carrying a hint of barely perceptible coldness. Where to? Robert, Bob, Wilson looked confused. To give Mr. Lee a big gift. I curled my lips into a meaningful smile. 10 minutes later, I took Ashley Carter off my block list and sent her an address. Don't people online love a good show? Then let them see something spectacular. Along the way, I kept looking at Chad Lee's account. It was obvious that Ashley Carter had been good to him. No wonder he enjoyed being known as the CEO's boyfriend so much. Half an hour later, Robert, Bob, Wilson and I, along with the company's legal department, arrived in force at the door of Chad Lee's live stream. With a loud bang, the door was kicked open. Chad Lee was still holding a pile of bags. He was stunned when he saw me, then immediately put on a wronged expression, pointed the live stream cell phone at me, and cried out, "Folks, see that? It's him. He won't leave me alone. Now he's even come to my place to make trouble. Lou, this is outrageous." The live stream instantly exploded, with comments pouring down like a waterfall. This is too much. Does having money mean you can bully people? Exactly. The guy is already so miserable, and you're still trying to finish him off. Rich people are all the same. I sneered and said slowly, "Your place?" Chad Lee looked as if he had heard something unbelievable, put his hands on his hips, and said confidently, "If it's not my place, whose place would it be?" Robert, Bob, Wilson couldn't help but laugh. He stepped forward, pointed at Chad Lee, and said, "This is Ethan's place." Chad Lee's eyes darted around, and he immediately put on a wronged expression again, squatting on the ground and wailing, "You stole my girlfriend, you ruined my wedding, and now you're trying to take my home. What else do you want? Why do you have to keep going after me?" I was too lazy to waste words with Chad Lee and turned to give the people in the legal department behind me a look. The legal team understood and immediately took out the property deed that they had prepared, pointed it at the live stream cell phone, and said, word for word, "Netizens, please take a good look. The ownership of this property belongs to Ethan Hunt, Mr. Hunt. We are here today to legally reclaim Mr. Hunt's property. Please leave immediately." That's right. I didn't expect Ashley Carter to be so shameless, using my money to support her other man and even giving my house to him. Before long, Ashley Carter arrived. She looked flustered when she saw me. "Ethan, let me explain." The number of viewers in the live stream soared again because of Ashley Carter's arrival, and the GIF effects almost covered the entire screen. It seemed that Ashley Carter usually brought a lot of traffic to Chad Lee. Plus, all the videos on Chad Lee's homepage were about showing off wealth. I had to have the finance department check the company's accounts later. I raised my hand and slapped her across the face. "Explain what? Explain why your gigolo is living in my house?" Ashley Carter was slapped by me, covered her face, and didn't even dare to argue. She just kept explaining, "Ethan, listen to me. The house is rented to Chad Lee. I didn't mean to deceive you." Her pathetic appearance made me feel disgusted. I grabbed Chad Lee's live stream cell phone, faced the camera, straightened my suit, and said in the tone of a live streamer, "Folks, what should we do? A moment ago, your Chad Lee brother said it was his house, but now the owner has arrived, and it's suddenly rented. Who do you think we should believe?" The live stream was quiet for a few seconds, and then the comments exploded like a pot. "Wow. This guy is handsome, rich, and cocky. I love it. That slap was so satisfying, LOL. The plot twist is too fast. Your Ethan is here. He's here to slap you in the face." I sneered and said directly to the legal team behind me, "File a lawsuit against Chad Lee for illegal trespassing." The legal team nodded and began preparing the documents. When Chad Lee heard what I said, he jumped up from the ground like a madman, grabbed the property deed from the legal team's hand, and tore it to shreds. He looked at me provocatively, but I couldn't help but laugh. Add another charge, intentionally damaging other people's property. The legal team was shocked by Chad Lee's move and was stunned for a moment before reacting. They quickly nodded and replied, "Okay, Mr. Hunt." Ashley Carter pulled Chad Lee behind her, pointed at his nose, and cursed, "Do you know what you're doing? You've ruined me. Are you happy now?" Chad Lee was startled by Ashley Carter's sudden anger and stood there blankly, his fists clenched tightly, as if he had suffered a great injustice. He choked up, his voice trembling. "How can you say that to me? Who do you think I did all this for?" "For whom?" "For yourself," Ashley Carter roared. "All you know how to do is show off your wealth on a live stream." Chad Lee suddenly shouted hysterically, interrupting Ashley Carter. He rushed into the room, rummaged around, and then took out something and threw it hard at Ashley Carter. "The baby in your belly is mine. Who do you think I did all this for?" I watched Chad Lee waving the pregnancy test stick and applauded, a sarcastic smile on my face. "Oh, so I was not only cheated on, but I almost became a dad. But you know what? I'm no saint, and I don't do charity. Now, get out. Now. I'm not leaving. This is the house my girlfriend gave me." Chad Lee suddenly became like a shrew, throwing a tantrum. "She's pregnant with my baby. I'm going to sue you for bigamy." Ashley Carter's face turned pale. She looked at me, then at Chad Lee, and finally seemed to make up her mind, her eyes bloodshot, and grabbed Chad Lee from the ground and dragged him straight out. But Chad Lee was a man, after all. How could Ashley Carter drag him? The two of them started wrestling on the live stream. "What are you doing? Let me go." But Ashley Carter seemed determined and wouldn't let go, dragging him until Chad Lee couldn't take it anymore and threw her off, sending her crashing into the corner of the table. With a bang, Ashley Carter was thrown hard to the ground. She clutched her stomach in pain and let out a shrill scream. My stomach. My baby. Ah, it's better if it's gone. It's the seed of a good-for-nothing anyway. On the ground, a pool of bright red blood was shocking. Seeing this scene, I took a deep breath and was even more grateful that I hadn't married Ashley Carter. This woman was already crazy. Ashley Carter suddenly turned her head to look at me. Her eyes blurred, but her tone was unusually gentle. Ethan, we'll have many of our children in the future. As she spoke, she wanted to take my hand. Seeing this, the people around me quickly protected me behind them. Before long, the police arrived and quickly pinned Chad Lee to the ground when they saw the scene. Half a month later, Chad Lee and my case went to court. He was sentenced to pay me more than $20 million for damaging other people's property and was sentenced to 5 years in prison for provoking trouble and intentionally hurting people. And Ashley Carter was also sentenced to 8 years for committing financial crimes by tampering with the company's finances and for intentionally hurting people. Their lives were ruined, and my life was just beginning. Without Ashley Carter, I lived freely and happily.